gosh. I don't really
You ready, MJ? What were you saying there when you said, oh gosh?
I don't really need my AirPods.
Okay.
They're not even working that good. That well. Okay.
Yeah, Superman works good. Those ear pods work well, but they don't.
Okay. They
Okay.
don't really. Okay. All
All right.
right, let's do it.
Recording in five, four, three.
Hi, I'm back, bitches. Hi, it's Mary Jo Eustace. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Senior Bitches, where we celebrate incredible women over 50, and some dudes too. We're equal opportunity here, who are rewriting the landscape around conventional aging and doing extraordinary things and kicking ass in unique and inspiring ways. I'm so glad to be back. Hello, Mike. How are you? That's my producer.
Toronto Mike checking in from north of the border. How are you, MJ?
I am really good. Thank you so much for asking. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. It's been about 6 or 7 months that I've been unplugged, but I am back in full force. There is so much happening in the universe. It is a shit show. We're not going to go into it today, but as an old broad, I am like, what the hell am I going to do? So we're all just trying to get our bearing in this new universe and trying to figure out how to get along with 50% of the country who doesn't think the same way that we do. But I sort of think that this is a really great time for learning and expansion or getting a severe drinking problem or leaving the country. But I choose to sit in it and learn. So I am so glad to be back with my community of senior bitches. Now, my producer can attest to this. I want to reset the podcast a little. I'm going to reset it a little. Do you like that professional terminology I'm using?
Let's do a full reset, MJ.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm going to do a full reset. What we do here in this universe is we celebrate women and men over 50 who are tackling this aging continuum, which is not for the faint of heart. So, my last podcast I did, it was actually with a guy, and his name was Captain Jason Chambers, and he's from the Below Deck franchise. And he was a beautiful guest, plus a super stud, a philosopher, and a single dad. And he also told me, do you remember this, that I had three G spots?
I
Remember?
remember it vividly. I took notes.
Yeah, I did not know that, ladies. Who knew? So if you are curious at all, please go to Senior Bitches and listen to the podcast with Jason. It's called Komodo Dragons, Pearls, and the Perfect Man. And you've got to get that information ASAP. So I am looking into the third one as I speak. I found two, and it's a full-time job, but it's enjoyable work.
I was going
So
to ask you if you found the three, but it sounds like you're working on it.
I found 2.5. So I'm just going to keep on going. Actually, Duracell Batteries is the sponsor of this show. So that's what I'm doing currently. Anyway, I got to know Jason before we did the podcast together. He was the captain on a super yacht that I was on, and he was absolutely wonderful. And we went on this really romantic walk. I thought it was a romantic walk, but who knows? And he shared all his secrets with me. And as we came down the hill into the sunset, there was local kids playing soccer, and he jumped into the game and took his shirt off. So that made me happy, and it would make anybody happy. Correct?
Well, I'll take off my shirt right now. See how I
No,
compare.
no, you don't have to. It's fine. I'm good. I'm good. So here's another little update because I digressed a little bit. I came out of hiding a couple of weeks ago to do a podcast, one of my favorite podcasts in the world, aside from Senior Bitches, with my soul sister, Jan Arden. I mean, how much do we love this bitch? She is incredible,
Well,
right?
she loves you. It's a mutual admiration society, you two, when you're together.
I love her because she's really funny and she supports women to the nth degree, like authentically. It's not fake. And when she was on her show, remember she talked about the ladder of success and she hated that analogy. It's because it's like all these bitches kind of scrambling to get to the top.
Right.
She said it's like a trellis. We can all go up. We can all find our path, right? It's
And
not
as your producer,
exclusionary.
I need to thank Jan because you got quite the bump. The subscribers spiked post Jan Arden episode.
Yes, I was going to get to that, Mike.
Oh,
Thank you
my
for interrupting
apologies.
me.
Just let me,
Jesus.
please continue.
Figure for a man to do coitus interruptus, right, ladies? He interrupted me right when I was getting there, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. We also talked about how important it is for women to support other women because some women don't. And Jan's come up against this. And I was talking about some of these ferocious women that I've come up against, and one of them was a major celebrity, and not the one that everybody thinks, major. And she bugged my ass for years, this woman, and there's a whole story behind it. But she presented as really feminist and, outgoing and loving to women, but she wasn't. So to find a community like Senior Bitches where we're all supporting each other is really, really essential. And Jan is a big leader in that, which I really respect. So on the Arden podcast, we talked about dating. We talked about sex post 50. We talked about dementia. And we talked about like sort of being in our crankster years and not putting up with any crap from anybody. We also talked about my D-level divorce. Remember that? The D-level divorce. And yeah.
We remember.
I think People magazine said I was 6'2" and born in 1943 and possibly homeless. But we talked about Jan's Tinder profile because her Tinder profile, forget the fuck about it. Nobody would go there. But we laughed about it. And basically, in the first 5 minutes of the podcast, we talked sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And to Mike's point, what happened when that podcast got released? What happened, Mike? Explain to our listeners what happened.
Well, I suppose Jan's audience said, let me get a taste of this MJ, and they liked what they tasted.
Oh, I like that. And what happened is that we went to number one.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to bury the lead there. Number one with a bullet, and you sustained number one. And I was here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, completely jealous of your success.
I know. I left you out of it. Sorry about that. Apologize.
I'm waiting for my call from Jan.
She lost your number. I'll give her your number again. But so what it said to me and what it resonated to me, that when women talk authentically about what's going on, people are going to respond to that. So I love that we are building this community. So I want to keep talking about aging. I'm in it to win it. And a big part of this podcast, I'm going to divide it into 3 parts, and I'm going to be very succinct. What did Mike say? No filler? No filler. Just
all killer, no filler.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about risk, which is really important to me, and Jan and I talked about this. So I'm obsessed with continuing this conversation. We are going to be talking about aging, joy, shopping, hormones, your vagina, travel, sex, post 50, reinvention, dating, all of it. God, I'm tired already. I'm ready for a nap. But we're going to get into all of this shit, right?
Right.
Okay, so here I am on the light side of 60. I just sold my house. I'm an empty nester. I'm ready to roam the world. My children are gone, and I'm ready to jump into this next section of my life. Right?
Well,
are you hanging on every word?
Congratulations on the sale of your home.
Thank you very much. And I owned it for 15 years. I bought it after my divorce on my own. And it was the best relationship I ever had. And once the toilets exploded too many times, I had the rat infestation in the roof. And it was time to leave. But it was my little Spanish oasis, 1934, little pool in a guest house. And it was just my heart and soul. But I broke up with it. And I sold it.
Well, so, onwards and upwards for you.
Onwards and upwards. Okay, so today we're dividing the podcast into 3 sections. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Dating, risk, and dementia. You turned on? We're doing dementia.
Okay, I'm excited about dementia. We're opening with dating. So may I ask the big question again? I don't know what you're going to say. So if I stomp on you, please don't yell at me. You scare me.
Okay.
But how's your love life?
Well, okay, so this is what I'm going to do, Mike. I'm going to divide it. I'm going to talk about dating just a little bit. I'm going to give you sort of the premise of what we're going to be doing. So dating. Here are my questions. Am I ever going to see a penis again? Do I want to see a penis again? And if I do, what is that going to involve? Lots of questions, right? Lots of unanswered questions. Okay. Number 2, the next topic, risk. Being brave, putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations, saying yes, shaking shit up. What are we waiting for? This is a big one for me. I had a psychic reading last night. Everything comes down to risk. All right. And finally, the sexiest topic of all, we're going to be talking about dementia.
May I ask a question? Now, on the agenda
can.
Today, will you speak to the fact that here in Canada, you're all over the place on billboards, and you were on season 2 of The Traders Canada. Will you speak to that? Will that be under dating or risk?
Risk.
Okay, so I'll hang tight with my traders questions.
Okay, dating, penis, risk, traders,
okay,
dementia, the sexiest topic ever.
All right, let's start rocking with dating.
We're starting with risk. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to boss you around this morning, okay? I did something that scared the shit out of me, okay? Because I did not want to do this. This was something that was out of my comfort zone. I got a call from my friend Heather Muir, who's a casting director, and she asked me to do Traitors. Okay, this is my worst nightmare come true. The thought of putting myself in an uncomfortable situation with strangers and being edited badly on a reality show is my absolute worst nightmare ever. But I called my son Jack, and it's his favorite show ever. And he said, Mom, if you don't do this show, you're a total pussy. You have got to do this show. So I agreed to do the show. I agreed to do the show. And I only had a little time to get ready for it. So I flew from LA to Quebec. I brought like about 10 suitcases worth of clothes because I wanted to look great on the show. And I have to do a shout out to Lauren Chan and Netta on Traitors. I believe they're still on. And these two bitches were like unbelievable in their fashion sense. So I tried, but I didn't need all those clothes because I left kind of early. But it was okay. So check this out. I'm the oldest player on Traitors, maybe in Traitor history. I'm 62 years old. Oh, God.
Wow. I saw recent bikini pics. I don't believe you. Show me some ID.
I am 62. When I did Jan, she reminded me I was 39, but you know, kind of like I'm on the light side of 60, as I like to call it. But I was surrounded by millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen Xs, which I don't know. I mean, they were interesting. So it was like the most incredible experience ever to do it because I had no control of the situation. So basically, as soon as you land, right? So I landed in Quebec, they pick you up from the airport and they take you in the dead of night to a hotel. And they take all your, like your computer, your iPhone, everything. You can have no communication with anybody. So I got in really late at night. We're up at 5 the next morning and they tell you to be camera ready. You got to be ready. Okay. So I'm in the lobby at 5:30, like looking around at all the other players. And we get into a Sprinter van, like, you know, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where like bad shit goes down. So we're in the van and I look to the left of me and there's this beautiful woman beside me and she's reading a book called The Art of Healing. And already you get into the game, you're thinking, is she trying to fuck me over right now? Is this some psychological warfare that she's trying to do right before we start playing the game?
Right.
And anyway, she became a good friend at the end of it. But this whole experience, Mike, is about risk. Okay, it's about risk and out of your comfort zone. And this is my message to women over 50. We got to start doing it. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, we have to make a halftime appearance and get out there and start doing shit that makes us uncomfortable and makes us scared and is kind of, you know, irritation and get out of our comfortability and do something that makes us grow. So we arrive at the manor and we do interviews all day. And then we get ready for the big opening party where we're all going to meet each other, but we can't talk to anybody. We have chaperones. They actually have a psychologist on set who evaluates your mental health. And when I left the show, he came in to see me several times because my exit was like so out of the box. But anyway, we got there for the opening. We go out, we're supposed to come in our cars and they're going to film it to announce a show. And I go out with two of these ladies and we get in a Sprinter van and they take us across a field into the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, are we being kidnapped for some sort of trafficking? Like, what is happening here? And we pull up to a helicopter airport, I guess. And we make our arrival in the helicopter. Isn't that super sexy and wonderful? So we fly in and that's how we get introduced to the show. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty great thing. And then I start getting in. The millennials and the Gen Zs didn't know me so much. It was the gay contingency that I basically was the diva for ages. And some of the older players recognized me from What's for Dinner and He Said, She Said. And so it was like a really wonderful experience in that way. But what ultimately happened is I was like a well-liked player. Maybe they were giving me respect to the elder. Not sure about that. And I orchestrated the first banishment. I got somebody banished right away. So I think we're going to play a clip where I got all my posses on board to banish this woman, which I did. So this is me at the round table sounding really, really smart and orchestrating the first banishment. Thing we really have to think about, that challenge today, those traitors were brutal. There were answers that were correct, and we all know them because we communicate, and they put the wrong answer down. And you know what they did today? They took 10 grand away from us. We gave everything today to get that. And they actually sabotaged us. So the most important quality these traders have, they're smart.
Okay. You're such a strategic thinker. I love that.
Who's that brilliant woman? Who is she? No dementia there, people. She nailed that.
That's a teaser for later.
That's a teaser.
You were great on the show because people who know you and I have a relationship, a platonic relationship, we should point out.
At the moment, it's platonic. Right. Go on.
I got my fingers crossed. Yeah. I must say, everybody was saying, hey, your MJ is on this show and she's fantastic on this show.
Thank you. And that day I was the one behind it, and I got rid of this woman who super irritated me, but she happened to be a faithful. So here's how this show is for life, how it's a lesson. Okay, so the next day we go to do the challenge, the Trojan horse, and I'm in the car. This is like a wet dream for me with Enoch, the football player. He's played CFL, NFL. We get in the car and we start bonding, and I'm falling in love with this man. I'm like, this is my guy. This is my dude. This is my ride or die. We're going to win traders together. So we go do the challenge and everything like that. And I'm thinking I'm home free. I'm going to set up with this guy. I find out the next day, he's got all the bros against me. He thinks I'm a traitor. He actually thinks I'm on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I'm not, but he spread that rumor throughout the house that I was. So he started orchestrating all the bros in the house to vote against me. Okay. And one of the bros was Kevin. He was like The Bachelor. He was on The Bachelor, all the Bachelor franchises. He's a super stud, and I really liked him, but they were all ganging up on me. And I couldn't believe that a hetero straight male was going to break up with me and do something horrible to me on national TV. So all day I'm wrestling with this. What am I going to do? Because this man that I entrusted is coming after me. So I don't know what to do. So I think we have a little clip of how painful this betrayal was to me with this man. I talked to Enoch, but damage is done there.
With what?
With him.
In what way?
I don't think he trusts me now.
Okay, yeah. So you think he's pushing for you?
So has my name come up with other people?
No, that was it, just this morning.
Okay. Here's the thing about the game. Yeah, the money's great, but you start to care about these people. Enoch seemed totally heartbroken that he thought I was a traitor, and I feel like I'm breaking up with a boyfriend, and it's so traumatic.
Oh my God, so dramatic. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, it's so dramatic. And then I tracked him down in the garden and I said, dude, what's going on? I said, just don't break up with me. Guess what? He broke up with me. So that night, when I'm going to the round table, thank God for the gays, because if I didn't have the gays, I would have been totally screwed. And as we're going into the round table, picture this, okay? We're about to go and banish. I look around and I see Enoch. He won't look me in the eye. So I know I'm toast, right? So I know they're coming after me. I look at my gays legally and they're like, oh yeah, you're going down. The bros are coming after you. So we walk into the round table and I sit down and I'm like, what am I going to do? Senior bitches, listen to me. What am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and let a bunch of men take me down? Or am I going to blow it up and go out on my own terms? What am I going to do? Because I have no phone. I can't talk to anybody. I chose to blow it up. So I came up with the most absurd thing possible, that I thought this theory that Kevin was a traitor. And he looked at me and he's like, what the hell? He's like the nicest guy ever. And I tried to take down the bros. That's what I tried to do. And then Enoch was mocking me. You're such a traitor. I've seen you on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then my gay goes, oh my God, this is her audition for the Beverly Hills housewife. Let her audition. She should be on that show. And they all came after me. And even my gay turned against me, Kirkland, who I love, who's one of my good friends now, and said he wasn't just a cowboy from out west, that I underestimated him. And anyway, at that point, after I caused all this chaos and stood up for myself, I realized I'm kind of ready to go, because I can leave, blow this whole thing up, and I can exit with my dignity and do everything that I came to do, which was two things. One, be on the poster of Traders Canada and be in every bus stop and every billboard across the country. Did that. Secondly, was to leave on my own terms and not get murdered. I could not get murdered. So I commanded the round table, and this is how I left the situation. You guys are the most incredible group of people. And I've honestly fallen in love with every one of you. And you're one badass bitch. Keep being incredible. Kirkland, I have mad love for you. I came in all ablazing because I got pumped up before, so I was fighting for my life. Maybe I wasn't as articulate as I wanted to be. I'm a faithful bitches, and I always have been. I love you all. Thank you. It's been a great experience.
Wow.
She was a fucking faithful.
Wow. I'm a faithful bitches. I need a t-shirt that says that. I'm a faithful bitches.
I'm a faith. Oh my God, I'm like reliving it. Isn't that amazing? Ladies.
You know what? Go big or go home. You went out in a blaze of glory.
Blaze of glory at 62, probably the oldest player in trader history. And I showed those millennial Z's, G's, F's, A's, B's, whatever. This is how you do it. You go out gracious and generous. So I did the thing that scared the shit out of me the most. And in my irritation and being totally uncomfortable, the reward is learning. Like, I'm kind of up to do anything. I'm up to do anything now after doing that. Oh. It was a great experience for me. I'm into it. Okay, so senior bitches, do something, switch it up. Go on that date, go on that trip, join the book club, speak your mind, go to the grocery store in high heels. I don't know, just switch it up, just do something, because the results are absolutely incredible. So risk, take it, live it, breathe it. It's the best thing ever.
You're an inspiration to all of us senior bitches.
Thank you, honey. Which leads me to the biggest risk of all. Dating. I mean, it's pitiful. What can I tell you? Jan and I were talking about this, and she's like, this is Jan. I don't want anybody in my bed. I make my own money. I don't want anybody in my house or going into my fridge or watching my TV or being there when I come home. And I'm like, is that your Tinder profile or Bumble? And I'm like, maybe you're going to be single. And she said, yeah, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Are you okay with it? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it. I just had a psychic reading, and apparently I have two men coming into my life, one with blue eyes and one with green eyes. No, honey, you're married. Okay. Happily. Hopefully this time.
Happily.
Second time around for you. Hopefully.
Jan's Tinder profile that you were reading there sounds like she wants a friend with benefits. Is that what you're looking for?
I don't want to live with anybody currently.
Well, you don't need to live with your friend with benefits. Like, you asked off the top, will you ever see another penis again? Do you, MJ, do you desire to see another penis again?
I do, but I've quit drinking, so I don't even have the liquid courage before I see a penis. It depends what age the penis. It depends on a lot of things about it, truthfully. But in the new year, I think I'm going to work myself up to that. So the last time that I dated was about a year and a half ago. I had a relationship with somebody for 6 or 7 months, and there was a few red flags, but I was digging it. And we had a little disagreement about something. Not even a disagreement. I actually asked him if he was my boyfriend, and what was his response? I'm not opposed to it, which made me think, not a good sign, right?
Right.
Not a good sign. So I think I circled back and asked him a question in that vein, and he said, look, I am dying to talk to this about you. I'm going to get back to you tonight. That was August 17th, 2023. I haven't heard from him since.
Oh my God, MJ.
No, I know. He was 62. He ghosted me at 62. Can you believe that?
It's like your dad goes out to get a pack of smokes or some milk at the corner store and just never comes home.
Never came home. The rooster never came home to roost. And it was, and then I happened to go on Bumble a week later just to check what he was up to. And he was back on Bumble holding a fish.
Oh my God.
That's the truth. And his profile picture was a selfie he sent me after our first date. So that relationship did not go anywhere. Okay. So I actually wrote about this. I have a Substack called Senior Bitches, and I wrote about this topic, and I said, the title was, to all the men on Bumble, are you guys okay? Because I'm worried. I'm really, really worried. Should I just read quickly 3 responses I got?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm going through my notes. I'm very organized today. What do you think of my organization? Are you
You're really on
impressed?
point. My role here is to stay out of the way. Don't pollute the process. Let MJ be her MJist.
Okay, you can always edit this shit later, but tell me if I'm going on too long, but I think this is important.
Yeah,
Okay?
let me hear this.
Okay, so this is my Bumble thing. Guys, are you okay? I'm really worried about. First of all, I'm not really comfortable shopping for humans, as I call online dating. I don't love it. I think it's a bit creepy. So I put my profile back out there a couple of months ago and I got 3 responses from 3 gents. Do you want to hear
Yes,
what I got?
please. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this is my first response. Good morning, my little sunshine. Beautiful day to come to Newport. He lives in Newport. And have a light lunch at my yacht club and then take a walk around Balboa Island. Then take the ferry to the beach. Then walk to the pier. And then enjoy the sun while getting to know each other. Then have wine while the sun sets. And then see where this goes. And as I mentioned, I live in Newport close to my yacht club, which is near my house. So we could always go there too. If you're comfortable with above information, send me your exact location and ETA. I thought that was too much. I haven't even said hello yet. Is that a little stalkerish?
That sounds scary. I would put that in the recycling bin.
Okay, recycling bin. Okay, the next is from a lad in Mill Valley in Northern California, lovely area. So I'm feeling hopeful about that. This is what he said. I'm so glad we connected as I am magnetized to your strong natural elegance. Okay, and style, and also your hands and the story that you are telling with them. I was holding a glass of wine. I'll bet you have a lot of really good stories to tell with your hands, aside from holding things. And you probably don't know this, but I performed in the opening and closing ceremonies of the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. And I'll leave you to wonder what exactly I was doing there, and your curiosity will lead you to ask me. I also once had a summer job. Guess where it was? It was near the Finger Lakes, but I don't want to be too specific. Okay. This was his opener. His opener. I also got to learn about flight school, organic gardening, and Bitcoin. I didn't respond. Do you support me?
Okay, so Bitcoin is a red flag right there, but that opening sentence sounds like he had AI write it.
Or there might be some other issues. It's just a little, it's a bit too much information. I wouldn't know that he was in the Lake Placid Olympics. I don't even know his name. So that was, a little triggering. And finally, a lovely man from LA. You should really smile more in your pictures. You seem like a total bitch. So these are my 3 responses.
Oh my God. That's just,
I know.
That's just
I know.
mean.
So first impression, I think the guy might be a stalker. Second, I think the guy seems a tad lonely and might live in his mother's basement. And third, well, that guy's just from LA, so it's no big deal. But this is what I'm dealing with.
But MJ, if I put a gun to your head and said you're dating one of these 3, number 2, right? Of those 3.
The Finger Lake guy?
I think he was teasing the fact he's a penist. Not to be confused with the penis you're looking for, but a penist.
I would go with number 1.
Okay.
I would go to Newport and have armed security. That's what I would do. I would go to Newport.
You deserve better than those 3.
Thank you. I'm just saying it's a difficult landscape out there. Okay? And bear in mind, I had lunch with my 94-year-old buddy, right? My 90-year-old friend, Alan, who I love. He's got a girlfriend. We're at lunch. He's telling me about his problems with his lady, and telling me about their physical relationship. Like, I really don't need to hear that, but they're having relationship problems. He tore off my ear for 2.5 hours about this broad. And I'm literally break up with her, get rid of her.
How old is she, the broad?
90.
Oh, he's got a younger woman. I like that.
He's got a younger woman, 90 and 94. So we go for lunch in Beverly Hills. I meet him there. We talk for 3 hours. We have lunch in 12 minutes because then he's tired and his caregiver picks him up. But he's got a girlfriend.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I'm holding out hope for you that in the new year, 2025, you'll get some better replies than those 3 pieces of trash that you read to me.
Those are just typical. So I'm just taking a little break from it. I think that it's okay to take a little break from it. All right. But I'm trying to be positive. So I like that you felt I could pick somebody from those 3.
I said if you had to.
The Lake Placid guy.
I thought maybe he was a penist at the Olympic ceremony. Like maybe that was from John Tesh.
Okay. I don't know your thinking, but maybe I'm going to revisit. And I think he lives in his mom's basement, but you could be right. You could be right. Okay. So we've done risk, dating, and here's the third topic. The third topic is dementia. Haven't you heard everybody's doing it? It's like the new black. Everybody's got a little bit of dementia. Okay. So I am entering into that sandwich generation where I've got my kids. I'm still dealing with my kids, and my parents are sort of a shit show. And Jan and I talked a lot about this because her parents had dementia and Alzheimer's and everything. And it's a lot. And you have to kind of learn how to deal with it. And it's my dad who's got the dementia. My mother's still sharp as a tack. And they're an interesting couple. But as my dad reverts further and further into childhood, I did it sympathetically with him because since I found out about his dementia, I've been eating a lot of ice cream. That's all I eat. And it's bringing me back to when I was 10 or 12 years old. Remember in the summer, you could eat whatever you wanted, like your parents. Well, my parents never made dinner. Like if we were at the cottage, we were in our bathing suits all day. And then at night, my mother was bored. She's like, do you want ice cream? So I'm reverting back to like the early 70s when I was a kid and I could just eat ice cream. I'm doing it in sympathy for my dad. Isn't that weird?
Kind of beautiful, actually. Like that to me sounds almost like just a beautiful in simpatico, this bond you have with your father. And just for the record, I'm sorry to hear that your father's suffering from dementia. That's awful to hear.
Well, it is. And so many people are going through it, right? Like I know so many people are going through it and getting it younger, getting it older. And it's a really interesting time because you also have to interact with your family again. And those dynamics are like when you were younger and the nanny quit and said, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This group is crazy. So you relive your family dynamics. That's what's happening right now. I'm power of attorney. I don't want the job. If there's anybody out there listening, they can have the job. I do not want to have the job. My dad is in an old age home, a retirement living facility, and his room is next door to the town tart of the retirement home, Linda. I love her. But up, down, and sideways, she flirts with all the men. She knocks on my dad's door at all hours of the night. But I love Linda. She's got spirit. So he's got quite a few friends in the retirement home. And there's a beauty and a sadness to all of this. So I wrote an essay for my Substack called I've Got a Secret That I Can't Remember. And one of my best friends, Jane Oppenheimer Bergeron, who is also Alan's daughter, the 94-year-old who's making his way with all the ladies in Beverly Hills. She is an award-nominated audio narrator, and she's narrated some of the bestsellers in the world. And she's just incredible at her job. And I reached out to her to ask her to narrate this story about my dad. And she graciously accepted and did the most beautiful job ever. So get ready to bawl your eyes out. It's on my Substack, Senior Bitches. It's called I've Got a Secret That I Can't Remember.
I've got a secret that I can't remember. According to the United Nations, I am now officially considered old. Not youngish old or even kind of old, just old. Ask Albania, St. Kitts, or Nevis. Hit up Madagascar, Senegal, or one of your favorite republics, and you will still get the same answer. Over 60? You're old. Though I do have to ponder, in relation to what? My dad? That's right. My 89-year-old father, who is old as fuck, has become my new litmus test for age. He has just moved into a lovely old age home, or more accurately, an assisted living facility, with a community of confused and wandering inmates who, like him, aren't really sure why they are there to begin with. And honestly, he has never appeared more mentally young, or excited about dessert. Seeing him propped up in a chair in his new environ, it is hard to believe that just a month ago, he was rambling around his antique and orchid-filled apartment, domiciling with my mom, his beloved roommate of over 62 years. Minus a quick 18-month detour he enjoyed with an enthusiastic aerobics instructor from our local YMCA. It's fine. Her classes sucked anyway. But then came the flu, a little fall, and a pesky cognitive test that just couldn't hide his shiny new secret: vascular dementia. So last week, I was the one who got to sit across the table from him as he buckled up for the quiz of his lifetime. We are about to find out if he has any marbles left to lose, or if knowing his address or birthday will get him out of this atrocious rehab and back into his own bed. My sister and I get him ready. We dress him in cozy corduroys and his favorite Ralph Lauren plaid shirt, and tell him this meeting is his ticket out. We brush his hair and teeth, smooth his hands with calming lotion, and reassure him that he's got this. The test begins. He concentrates hard to answer the questions coming at him like a child who wants that coveted gold star. He is respectful and succinct, but I can see in his eyes that his thoughts are dancing outside of his grasp, and he is frightened. I gently remind him of how to write a sentence and hand him the pen I have brought from his desk at home. And then, like a flash, I see it. He is in the process of trying to unearth something, a secret he needs to share, or a memory that will give him access to who and what he used to be. Like a crack of light through filtering trees, or a cloud that splits the sun, he digs deep for some sort of lifeline to pull out the jumble of past moments that lie within. My dad whispers something. I lean in close to hear, and a lifetime passes. That is when I am reminded. My dad has the greenest of eyes, just like I do. Only about 2% of people in the world have naturally green eyes. Green eyes are a genetic mutation that results in low levels of melanin, though more melanin than in blue eyes. Green eyes don't actually have any color. I look at him and smile. Our connection is scientific. He smiles back and says quietly, "Help." Of course, the sentence remains unwritten. He hangs his head and drops the pen. The window closes. This test, both written and spiritually, has led me to addressing a lot of things lately, especially the beauty and somewhat fickle nature of memory. The paradox of having too much stored data, or maybe not enough, and what that space in the middle must feel like. There is pain in remembering, but most certainly there must be liberation in forgetting. I try to take comfort in this. The Dodgers have just won the World Series. I live in LA and it is a big fucking deal, and it makes me want to tell my dad. He is a baseball encyclopedia, a statistician of the highest order with decades and decades of information roaming around his brain. But for now it is elusive and rogue, like a night heron, or a tail of light from a comet that will remain uncaught. So just before heading back to California, I went for my last visit. I take him down to the lobby to chat and hang with his retirement home homies, Butch, Linda, and my most favorite, Douglas, an incorrigible flirt who puts most bumble dudes to shame. Of course, I have to reintroduce myself to all of them all over again, but I don't mind. They are the most receptive crowd ever. Butch, who is a real mover, quickly saddles up beside me. He pulls out his phone to watch the baseball game, upside down, and without looking up, asks my dad, "Is that your daughter?" Indignation, pride, and clarity dances across my father's face. "Fucking right she is." The window opens, and life rushes in. It's scientific.
I need a moment here, MJ. That was so emotional and heart-wrenching and beautiful all at once. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I could never get through it to read it. So it's just a clarion call. It's just a little piece for all those people out there who are going through that with their family. I know how painful it is and emotional and beautiful and sad and all those things. So I just want this to be a space where we can talk about all that stuff that we're not supposed to talk about, because it brings up the child in us when we see our parents reverting. So I want to thank my friend Jane for reading that. We're going to do a link to her website because she's brilliant. But Yeah, yeah, it's important. So thank you for letting me share that. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay. On an up note, we have lots of great guests that are going to be coming up on Senior Bitches. We're back with a vengeance. We can't wait to reconnect and get into a million more topics. So thank you so much today for tuning in to we're reintroducing, we're back, and we want to stay on top of those charts. So please write in, give us topics, join this community. We're thrilled to have you, right?
Right.
Okay. See you next time on Senior Bitches.